friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is the Bard palette. It's their third release, and it's launching on September 29th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This will be priced just like their other palettes, $38.99 each. According to the info that they sent along with this palette to me, this is cruelty-free and vegan. So I do have all three of their palettes. Fantasy Cosmetica does send me PR, but I don't have an affiliate code. I'm pretty sure a few of my friends do though, so if you decide to purchase from the brand, take a look down in the description box and I will try to remember to include a couple of affiliate codes down there. I'm pretty sure a few of my other YouTuber friends are affiliates for Fantasy Cosmetica. Like I said, this is their third palette, so the first release was Druid, then Sorcerer, now Bard. The other two have a little bit more moody packaging. This one's definitely a lot more whimsical packaging-wise with all the little glowing music notes, and that does carry over onto the back as well. Now, just like the other palettes, this has a sleeve that the palette slides out of. The art is exactly the same on the sleeve and the palette. It's not like some brands where they're a little different and all the ingredients are only on the sleeve. These are exactly the same. There is a mirror in here, and then we have the 9-pan layout. So these are all the exact same style of packaging, just the designs are different. So we have 4 mattes here in the corner, some nice fall tones for the mattes. And then we have 5 different shimmer shades. This one is just a straight up metallic shimmer. Lore is described as a multi-chrome, and then these 3 are described as duochromes. Now I'm going to show you some swatches of this Bard palette. As usual, I'll show you both finger and brush swatches. Finger swatches are on top, brush swatches are directly below. No primer, no dampened brush, nothing like that, just the shadows straight onto my arm. Let's take a look at those swatches of the Bard palette now. Here are the swatches. You can see that across the finger and brush swatches, these are pretty consistent. I will say my one sort of complaint about this palette is some of these mattes don't seem quite as effortless as their previous palette releases. Just took a little bit more effort to blend on the eye, and here you can see these initial swatches. Some of them don't look quite as opaque and consistent as I personally found the previous palettes to be. Now, that's not to say that they're not good at all. They're just only good instead of really, really, really exceptional. But look at these shimmers. I had to show you in some indirect lighting as well how stunning these are. Super sparkly, super shifty, really just bright, brilliant metallic shades, which is exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to a shimmer shade. Particularly, a lot of these duochrome and multi-chrome shades are just incredibly beautiful in all kinds of lighting, and I really wanted to show that off. Now I want to show you the previous palettes side by side with Bard, because I do think this Bard palette is sort of the perfect bridge between Druid and Sorcerer. Druid has some of these grungy green type of shades, and then Sorcerer has more of the pink and blue, and Bard has a little bit of both, but it's bringing these brighter yellow and orange shades into the mix. And none of these shades are exactly the same, but they do seem to flow really well together. So I think Bard could be a good companion for either Druid or Sorcerer, while I didn't find those two to be perfect companions to one another. So I really wanted to show all of these palettes together. Next, I want to show you this Bard palette in action. So I'm going to do an eyeshadow tutorial for the look that I'm wearing today, and I'll give you all my thoughts on this palette along the way. As you watch this product demo, pay extra attention to the mattes, because I did feel like I needed some extra time to build these up and blend them out nicely. Whereas when I worked with Druid or Sorcerer, it did feel a little bit more effortless as far as blending and getting all of the colors to work well together on the eye goes. Now, these did show up really beautifully on the lid, and these are some tougher colors, Particularly olive green mattes or bright yellow mattes, I find that they don't always translate as well to the eye as they look in a pan or even in a simple swatch. Sometimes these are shades that, in the case of an olive green, tend to end up looking more muddy and brownish once they're applied to the lid, or in the case of a yellow, just don't retain their intensity. And I do think that these translated well to the eye. They just didn't blend as smoothly as especially the Druid palette, because I will say that this Bard palette has a fun but approachable color story with the warmer tones, orangey and gold type of shades. I do think it makes this palette a little bit more accessible to somebody who's not quite as comfy in that really colorful eyeshadow zone, but it still manages to have some whimsy and some playfulness with a lot of different shades in such a small color story. Nine Shadows really isn't a large palette, and I like that this palette managed to incorporate some really bright, fun shades, and it doesn't have that pop of blue effect feeling where we've seen so many palettes that have just one blue shimmer and they tend to be overwhelmingly warm neutral. With the addition of a bright yellow and some greens, they've managed to avoid that pop of blue effect that we would definitely be feeling if instead we had some brown shades mixed in with the orange and berry tones found in this palette. The star of the show by far is this shade Lore for me. I cannot get enough of it. It applies so beautifully. I'm barely tapping onto the lid and I have this most opaque, super shimmery coverage on the lid. The color is stunning, reflective, and it just makes my whole eye look absolutely irresistible to me. I had to pause my day so many times after applying this eyeshadow because I kept catching a glimpse of this Lore shade and I would have to stop and stare at it because it is just so stunning. And it plays well with all of the different matte shades included in this palette as well. So I just can't get enough of it. I think this is by far my favorite shadow in this palette. But all in all, I like the color story. I like the way it came together. Would have liked to see the matte formula tweaked just a little bit, but the shimmers are so overwhelmingly beautiful and yummy and delicious that I don't even mind taking a little extra time to build up and blend out those mattes because the end result is stunning. I love my eye look. And I know I'm going to be struggling to use other shimmers in this palette because I love this Lore shade so much. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this palette. Have you tried Fantasy Cosmetica? Which one of these is your favorite? I just can't get over the Druid palette. I think it was such a strong first release for the brand, and it just appeals to me color story wise the most out of their 3 palettes so far. But it seems like in just 3 small 9-pan palette releases they've covered a lot of ground color story wise, and I just stay interested to see what they're gonna come out with next. But I always love to hear what you think about things too, so please leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! This palette sent chips. Dang it. It's really early. I don't usually film this early in the morning, but I just got after it today, so I think I need a little extra coffee. Where was I? Okay, great. Hold on, let me get the other ones. Look at my little pumpkin cats, aren't they so cute? It's officially fall now, although in here it has been for a long time. Now we can officially break out the pumpkin cats with no side eye. This shimmery shadow on the lid is so distracting in a good way. It's not quite as matching as I'd hoped, but we still kind of have this vibe. It's not a one-to-one match with any of these, but it's close. It's pretty close. Oh, oops, oopsies. Okay, Focus on the task at hand, Amanda. So beautiful. I did get a little bit of a stain from the blue eyeshadow, which is kind of weird. This one called Legend stained me. Usually it's the reds that are the culprit for me stain-wise. I mean, not that I've never had a blue eyeshadow stain me before, but not typically like a little shimmery duochrome. It's going to be some sort of really dense blue matte shade when it does stain me. So I was a little surprised. It's not too bad. I mean, you can barely see it, but just thought that was a interesting phenomenon. Stop. I cannot stop staring at it. I love it so much. Crushing it. These are in my Etsy shop. I made a bunch of them too, so there's probably still like a whole lot of them left. If you like them, go check them out. I released all my Halloween stuff. Got some really cute things. Couple things already sold out. I knew that they would because I just couldn't get that many pieces. But there's still a lot of cute fall and Halloween stuff, so go check it out. It's linked in the description. It's Just For Fun style on Etsy. Go check it out. I make all this stuff because I like to make things. Because I like shiny things. Not just eyeshadow, but all kinds of shiny things. I'm like that crab in Moana. Except smaller. And not evil. I feel like I should add that in there. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go have more coffee because clearly my brain is not fully functioning yet. It's only 9 a.m. So that's probably why. Okay, anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. I love your face. You are awesome. See you soon. Bye.